The smartest sports YouTuber back with another video. And in this video, we gotta talk about the abomination that happened on Sunday. The disgrace of a game. That was just pathetic. Bengals lose 23-20 to the Steelers. By the way, that was the Steelers Super Bowl this year. That's the biggest game they'll ever have this season by a mile. And it took everything to go wrong for them to barely scratch out a win that they didn't deserve, a win that, if we're being honest, not being a homer, the Bengals did get robbed in. If you see on the thumbnail, Jamar Chase clearly scores a touchdown with around 2 minutes, 50 seconds left. They don't call it a touchdown. They rule him out, a few inches short of the goal line. Next play, running play, loses about 2 yards. And I'm going to blame Zach Taylor, too, for not challenging that, but the official was right there, literally right in front. Me watching real time, I clearly see that's a touchdown. And I'm like, why aren't they reviewing this? And first of all, the official should call it a touchdown just so they can review it. Because if you call a touchdown, you can automatically review it. If not, the coach has to challenge it. So the official put us in a bad spot. It was a clear touchdown, so that's a touchdown taken away. And Joe Burrow obviously had his worst half of football maybe in his life in the first half. He had a 6 QBR in the first half. I don't know if I should say it's his worst game of his career, which it could be because the first half was so bad. But he did recover in the second half. He had a great end of the game. End of the fourth quarter overtime, he was phenomenal. He was great. He showed why he is the best quarterback in the league. But let's start out from the start of the game. Well, going into this game, I am thinking this is the floor for the offense because it's the first game with the new O-line. They haven't really had many reps in training camp together. They didn't play any preseason games, and they're going up against a top 5 defensive front. So this is really the floor for this offensive line and this offense as a whole. And obviously Joe Burrow's first game of the season. He hasn't had many reps in training camp himself because he had his appendix removed. So I was thinking this is the floor, but I still was thinking, all right, even the floor of this offense is good enough to beat the Steelers, which it should have been, but we'll get to that later. First play I think is a sack. Second play is a pick six. So pretty much the worst start you could have as an offense and as a team is a sack and then a pick six. So obviously that was not great. Joe Burrow missed a read, tried to force it into Boyd, which in this game, it was unlike Joe Burrow. That's why I just think it was just the rust, not really getting many reps in training camp because his strong suit is reading the field, dissecting a defense, and he was just off this game, or at least the first half. He was just off. He was making wrong reads. He was trying to force things, and Steelers defense made him pay. So down 7-0. Bengals go down. I believe they kick a field goal, 59 yards, and people trying to get on Evan McPherson that are casuals that don't watch the games. Look at the field goal Evan McPherson made to start off the game. 59 yards, straight down the middle, hits the back of the net. That would have been good from at least 65, 66 yards. That's how great Evan McPherson is. So get off his dick, get off his nuts. Big dick Evan McPherson. He's the best kicker in the league. I don't care what you say. He is the best kicker in the league, and he'll prove it this year. But we'll get more into that later. Then the Steelers get another turnover. I believe it was a fumble. I'm not really going to put this one on Joe Burrow because you can't really do much if you're trying to get rid of the ball and you get hit from your blind side. The ball pops out. Cameron Hayward picks it up. And Steelers go down on a trick play, get mostly down the field. They score, so I believe it's or they kick a field goal. So I believe it's 10-3 at this point. And the Bengals continue to struggle in the first half. Steelers end the half 17-6. Bengals had an opportunity in the red zone in the first half, couldn't convert. So Bengals are going down 17-6 in the first half. At halftime, T. Higgins gets hurt in the first half because of the dirty-ass, bum-ass Steelers. And the referees didn't even call a flag on this play where he clearly got hit in the helmet to helmet. Clearly, that's why he suffered a concussion in this game. And the refs didn't call it. So the refs were terrible in this game. And there's a big call they missed later. But like I said, let's go in order. Later in the game, during this game, obviously the Bengals defense is showing out. Like I said, they'll be a top 10 defense this year. Last year, they were ranked 19th for the whole season. They picked it up in the playoffs, but this year they should be a top 10 defense. They will be a top 10 defense, and they showed why. I mean, the defense was cooking all game. And then the offense goes down sometime during the late third, early fourth. They go down, score a touchdown. Joe Burrow threads the needle. Great pass to Tyler Boyd on the right side of the end zone. Then they go for two. Another great pass to Michael Thomas, who I will get more into as the game ends. So it's 17-14. Bengals somehow, after all these turnovers, after all these missteps, are still in the game. 17-14. Steelers go down, kick a field goal. Burrow probably throws another pick. Lost count. I mean, if we want to go through the 4 picks real quick, first one was bad. Second one of them went to T.J. Watt. I mean, that's just a good play by T.J. Watt. Can't really, I mean, is there much you can say about that? He just read it, jumped up on the line, made a great play, caught the ball. One of them was another bad one, but another one was just a 4th down play. He tried to fit one in, and it got picked. But I think he had another read that he could have went to instead of that read, and that's why I said it's unlike Joe Burrow. He usually makes the right reads. That's his strong suit, and I just think it just showed that he hasn't played football that much in the past 8 months. So I really think that's what it was. I think it was just more of the rust. But with all that being said, 20 to what? Then it gets to 20 to 14. At the end of the game, 2 minutes, 50 seconds left. Joe Burrow hits Jamar Chase on the sideline, which should have been a fucking touchdown, as you see in the thumbnail. He clearly was in. Real time, I'm like, that's clearly a touchdown. Why aren't they? Well, first of all, why didn't the ref call it a touchdown? He's literally right there. Me sitting on my couch, I can clearly see that's a touchdown. He is 1 feet from Jamar Chase, and he somehow marks him short. So the referee clearly robbed us in that situation. If we're going to be real, if you want to be objective about this, clearly robs the Bengals in this situation. And whenever it's close, you should always call it a touchdown because you get to automatically review it anyway. So if you find out it's not, then you can just reverse the call. But if they would have reviewed it and called it as it was, then it clearly would have been confirmed because it clearly was a touchdown. The NFL came and said after the game that it would have been ruled a touchdown if it was challenged. Zach Taylor, I don't know why he didn't challenge it. That was very stupid. He wanted to rush and try to sneak in because the defense was not set really. But that's just still stupid. You do a draw play to mix and you lose 2 yards, and then you end up not scoring from it. So that really screwed the Bengals. And then as this is happening, there's like 1 minute, 50 seconds left, 2 timeouts. I knew we would get the ball back because of our defense would stop them, but I'm getting messages from people talking the most shit, like, oh, it's over. How could this happen? What did you say? Oh, talking all this shit to me, right? And then, we get the ball back, and then they're dead silent. They're dead silent because Joe Burrow goes on a great drive to go down. He throws what should have been, or what could have been, 3 game-winning touchdowns on this one drive. He hits Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase makes the catch of the year, one-handed, corner of the end zone, fit between 2 defenders from 15, 20 yards out. Just an elite, legendary throw. He's a centimeter out of bounds. So that touchdown doesn't count. Then I believe T.J. Watt gets a pressure, but Joe Burrow throws it away and then hands to the face on T.J. Watt because he clearly rips Lyle Collins' face mask off. So Bengals get a penalty there. And then Joe Burrow goes over the middle of Tyler Boyd. Minka Fitzpatrick, I believe it was, his dirty ass leads with his shoulder into the helmet of Tyler Boyd, kind of like the Vontaze to Antonio Brown play. Call another flag. And then there's about 9 seconds, I believe 9 seconds. Joe Burrow hits Michael Thomas with another elite throw in the back of the end zone in between 2 defenders. Michael Thomas is a bitch. I don't care what anyone says. He's a bitch because he didn't just drop it because he got hit. No, he curled up. He clearly got scared. Why are you scared of taking a hit if it's to win the game? This pass was to win the game, or what should have won the game, but in his mind, it should have been to win the game, and he short arms it. He literally short arms it. You can see his arms curl up. He drops the pass before he even takes a shot. That's just a disgrace. no respect for him unless he makes it up somehow and makes a huge play and he takes a monster hit. He could have survived that hit easy. It's not like he would have got his head taken off. He just had to absorb a hit, and he wasn't willing to do it. He dropped the pass. So Michael Thomas gets no respect from me. Do not care from this point out, no respect. But even with that being said, 4 seconds left? Joe Burrow hits Jamar Chase with another, what should be a game-winning touchdown. Corner of the end zone, Jamar Chase runs a great route. Joe Burrow hits him perfectly. I believe they ended up putting 2 seconds back on, but it should have been a game-winning field goal. But the long snapper gets hurt earlier in the game on a punt return, and I see it happen in real time. I see him miss the tackle. I believe he banged his bicep or something into the punt returner, and I'm like, oh, someone's hurt, and I'm like, oh wow, it's the long snapper, and I didn't really think much of it right then, but obviously now who's gonna snap the ball? And I'm gonna be always curious about why do they not have Ted Karras snapping the ball and you have Will Cox, like a third string tight end, snapping the ball. That makes no sense. But I believe on this extra point, it was a slow snap, so that's one. And I believe that Drew Sample, who blocks the wrong dude, I don't know. This happened in the Florida State LSU game. The dude blocked the outside dude and not the one closest to the ball. That makes no sense to me. I don't know why you would even think that. But I believe that Will Cox is usually in the place that Drew Sample was. So you're taking two people out of their positions on this special teams play, and it comes back to bite you. The field goal gets blocked. You have to go to overtime after what should have been a legendary game-winning drive by Joe Burrow, having his worst game in his career, and he somehow still manages to pull a game-winning drive, a legendary drive out of his ass, and win the game for his team. But no, questionable coaching and just bad luck with the long snapper getting hurt. You don't really expect that to happen, and you have to go to overtime. What happens in overtime? Steelers get the ball first, but no big deal. Bengals get it back. Bengals go on a great drive. Joe Burrow leads them down, hits Hayden Hurst with a great throw, a great catch by Hayden Hurst on the sideline to get to the 15-yard line. Then they end up going for a 29-yard field goal to win another game-winning drive that should have been in what is supposed to be Joe Burrow's worst game. Another game-winning drive, and guess what? The snap fucking sucks. It's way too high. Kevin Huber has to rush to put it down. It was third down, so I was thinking maybe he should have just fell on it. But, I mean, that's a really hard decision to make in the spur of the moment. I mean, you have a split second to make that decision. He puts the football down, laces are out, showing to McPherson. McPherson hits it. People are saying, well, McPherson should have still made it anyways. But I believe it wasn't just that the laces were out. It was that the snap was high, the timing was off, and you can kind of see there was McPherson had to hesitate while hitting the ball, and he hooks it. So, again, not having McPherson's fault. Maybe he could have still done it, but like I said, the snap was high, it threw off the timing, and he got laces. So, just really bad luck from the kicking game this week. And it's the strong suit. I mean, going into this game, two of the strongest things were Joe Burrow, who had maybe his worst game of his career, and Evan McPherson in the kicking game. But obviously, really wasn't Evan McPherson's fault. Kind of got fucked by the long snapper getting hurt. But anyways, Steelers get the ball back, end up scoring because Sam Hubbard, for some reason, I guess he was just trying to get the ball back or something, trying to make a splash play. He jumps offside. Mitch Trubisky escapes him, and he throws it downfield. They get a catch, blah, blah, blah. They go down. They kick a game-winning field goal to end the game. Bengals lose 23-20. Joe Burrow, what could have been his worst game just because of that first half. And, yeah. So, 0-1 does suck, but there are some positives to take from this. So, 0-1 does suck, but there are positives to take away from this game. It's not all negative. The obvious fact is you lose the turnover battle 5-0, and you still should have won the game. That says something. Great teams. What I think when I think about great teams and great players is if they have their worst game or worst performance and they still find a way to come clutch and win the game, that's a sign of a great team. And I believe the Bengals did do that. Obviously, it's just a fluke that the long snapper got hurt. I mean, can't really do much about that. But Joe Burrow, like I said, it was his worst game, especially in the first half, and he still comes back, battles through it all, and throws for God knows how many what should have been game-winning touchdowns. Finished with 338 passing yards. And really is the best sign for me is going into this year, I knew last year, coming off that ACL, MCL tear, he barely ran the ball, and he could actually run the ball in college. His first game of his career, he ran for 46 yards and a touchdown. And but last season, his highest rushing game, the whole season, including the playoffs, was 25 yards. That is crazy. For someone that is actually mobile, I mean, Joe Burrow is actually a pretty fast quarterback. His last season, coming off that injury, his highest rushing total was 25 yards. And this was the biggest difference coming into this year. I knew he would be a lot more mobile, and you saw it in game one. This is what's really encouraging. When big plays need to be made, when key plays needed to be made, Joe Burrow made them with his legs. He ended up with 47 yards rushing, which is career high. All right, Joe Burrow said they have videos. They tracking his speed. He's running over 20 miles an hour in training camp. And his first game, he comes out 47 yards rushing, made some big-time runs. And that was probably the most encouraging sign, is that Joe Burrow's mobility is back. And that's going to be a big factor in the games to come. So I'm not really panicking. I know a bunch of people are talking shit, but your teams are going to be 1-1 after next week. My team will be 1-1 after next week. So the funny thing is, we'll be the same. All right, we should be 2-0 after this week, but 1-1 will do. But I'll get more into that game later this week. Joe Burrow bounces back from his worst half ever to do some legendary shit in the fourth quarter and overtime. Just sucks that the long snapper was hurt. It was a fluke of a game, 5 turnovers to none. Still should have won the game. Bad officiating, but all in all, we lost. So it is what it is, 0-1. Steelers won their Super Bowl Week 1 game. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Keep coming back to the channel for more facts. All I tell are facts on this channel. Like I said, I'm objective. I'm a fan, but I can be objective. And I just tell it how it is. I tell the facts, okay? A lot of people can't do that, but I do. So, like I said, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Keep coming back to the channel. Keep the channel growing. And you just listen to the smartest sports YouTuber on the planet. That's a fact. And I'm out.